The turquoise goblet is made in 3 phases of process. First, a blank is made. The blank is cooled and decorated. And finally, the firing process takes place, and this makes the decoration permanent. The process begins with gathering turquoise glass on the end of a metal blowpipe. The soft glass is gently rolled back and forth on the cold metal table called the marver. This makes the glass perfectly concentric with the blowpipe, and it cools it a bit. The glass is inflated as the end is gently pulled outward. A neck is begun between the blowpipe and the vessel body. Later in the process, this will allow the glass to be broken free of the blowpipe. The shaping of the lower part of the bowl begins after the trimming away of excess glass. The blowpipe is spun for centripetal force to elongate the bubble. The tip is flattened, pushed in somewhat, and a small gather of blue glass is delivered to the tip of the bowl. This is tooled to become a short, cylindrical element. Next, a small amount of white glass is gathered on the end of a metal rod and trailed on to the base of the bowl of the goblet. This is then tooled with an instrument with teeth. The knop is made by gathering blue glass, rolling it in gold leaf, dipping it in the optic mold or dip mold, and lowering the bubble carefully onto the center of the blue element. This is then tooled to create the decoration that we see in the knop. As the constrictions are formed, the bubbles are pushed inward to collapse on each other. Excess glass is trimmed away, and yet another blue element is added. White glass is added to the tip of the blue element, flattened, and on this the foot will be placed. Only the edge of the white glass will be visible. The foot is made just as the knop was made, lowered into place, cut free of its blowpipe, and a constriction is made. The excess glass is broken off, leaving a hole. After reheating, the hole is opened slightly and white glass is trailed onto the edge. This is immediately flattened. This will make a decorative white band at the edge of the foot. The final shape of the foot is achieved with reheating, blowing with the soffietta, and opening the glass with the jacks. Next, the vessel is transferred to the punty or pontil. This is a handle with which the vessel can be held at the base to create the final rim. The vessel is broken free of the blowpipe and reheated. The opening process begins with the jacks. It continues with the soffietta after a reheat. It's essential to keep the entire goblet well over 1,000 degrees Fahrenheit throughout the process. The final shape is given with the wood jacks or parchofis. These slide over the glass more easily than the metal. They also leave fewer tool marks. The completed blank is broken free of the punty and placed in an annealing oven for slow cooling. Next, the decoration begins. A mixture of gum arabic and water is made, and this will be an adhesive with which the gold will be attached. The mixture is painted on the edge of the goblet where the gold will be stuck down. The gold is in the form of leaf, and it's attached lightly to a paper backing. This simply makes it easier to handle. The gold is pressed in place and the backing paper peeled away. This is repeated until the entire circumference is covered in gold leaf. After drying somewhat, the borders are created by scraping away excess gold. Decorative lines are cut in with a sharp tool. Here a denticulate pattern is made. The enameling can begin. The enamel consists of intensely colored powdered glass mixed again with water and gum arabic. The viscous mixture can then be painted on. The decoration, here greatly simplified, continues with the painting on of red glass. After thoroughly drying, the decorated blank is placed back in the annealing oven and gradually heated to a temperature of about 950 degrees Fahrenheit. The punty or pontil is reattached to the base. It's taken to the glass working furnace, and the firing takes place there. It's essential to get the enamels hot enough to fully fuse. This will make them absolutely permanent. To do this, the base glass actually has to soften. When the base glass softens, the vessel is taken back to the glass blowing bench where final shaping occurs. In this process, the dots nearest the rim become slightly oval. The firing complete, the object is flashed in the furnace and returned to the annealer. The punty rod is tapped gently, breaking it free, and the final annealing occurs.